Hi everyone. Okay, let's carry on with our relief engraving. The little leaves on a tiny little port or sherry, probably not a sherry glass, maybe a port glass, lead crystal. Okay, this is where we are at so far. I have added some little berries, as you know, and pure fantasy, just because they're a nice little shape and they look like they would fit in there nicely. And I am literally making it up as I go along. What I probably will do with the berries actually is carve them in and polish them out so they do look like little spheres. Okay, right. Now, the next exciting thing is I've got a new drill. Long overdue, I might add, long overdue. And I have used the same kind of micromotor for many, many years, in fact, 38 years. And so I have finally found a micromotor that it goes up to 50,000 RPM and the handpiece is brushless, and I am yet to try it. So you will be watching me trying it for the first time. Let me take you to it. Okay, this is my little drill. It's quite a big drill. As you can see, it's a Fordham. It's all digitalized, so that's the maximum it will go up to. It has got obviously forwards and backwards. It's got the choice of the brushless handpiece, or I've got one of my normal micromotor brush style handpieces that is there spare, and that will plug in into the front here should I want to use that, and that will automatically change to 35 RPM if I do plug the brush style into there. Yeah, well, gosh, there's quite a lot to it. It's got like speed control and all sorts of things like that, which I'm yet to find out about. And obviously there's the hand control or foot control. It has got the normal foot control. Excuse my messy floor. It is a workshop after all. And basically the foot control is nice because it's not just an on-off. It is actually it controls the speed as well. So there's quite a lot about this that I like. The handpiece is quite sturdy. It maybe feels slightly heavier than the normal one. But I will, here's the specs on it if you want to see. Yeah. And I'll let you know how it feels. Well, you'll be watching for yourself, really. There's an interesting point, and that's one thing I will be asking them about. I'm waiting to hear back from them, actually. America hasn't woken up yet because we are that far ahead in time, and I'm talking about hours, not anything else. And I'm not going to submerge it in liquid, obviously. It's a strange thing to say, but we do use water. So now I am wanting to double check that it is okay to be using water with this handpiece. Okay, right, let's get on with it. Well, I haven't been particularly successful with the supplier in hearing back about the use of a drip feed water system. So I'm going to just mosey on, and here I have one of my little splashback gadgets, if you like. It's a little attachment that you put over the burrs. Now, I've had these for donkey's years, and I've got a few of them, and I've scattered them around various burrs, but now I'm going to be very particular about using them on the burrs that I'm using water with.
and I'm holding the water pretty close to the glass, and I'm trying not to get any into the handpiece. I can't imagine that it will. I mean, this little spinning thing is pushing the water away quite effectively. I think it'll be all right. So I have my little diamond, sintered diamond ball burr here, and I'm just carrying on a similar sort of reaction as what I was doing at the end of the previous video, just neatening up the edges. So in this video, what I'm going to do, you will notice I will be speeding up the sections of video because I actually had quite a lot of recording. I hadn't realized how much I had, so I have managed to get it down into, I think it's about a 44-minute video. Right, here we go with the high speed. I think I must have had about 4 or 5 coffees, and off we go at speed. So I'm neatening up the edge of the stalk and just playing around with the background a little bit. So the stalk has now got a ridge and it's kind of disappearing into the back of the leaf. I feel I should have some cartoon music on. This speed now is at 160% of normal speed. Right, here is a greenstone. It's one of my older greenstones and it's got a really nice smoothish finish. It will now soften some of the diamond area. And I'm thinking of a random edge to this, almost like a frame, a random frame. Now, I've shoved this straight into the drill, which I must say has been pretty impressive, but of course this one is going far too fast for this stone, so I've got to think about these things. And there I had showed you how it had kind of burnt the glass a bit, so I've turned it right down to about 30,000 RPM, and that's a much better finish, much better finish. There's a lot to learn. This drill in the leaflet has quite a nice little section about which burrs to use with which speed. Yeah, I might show you that at some point. I know I don't do that in this video, but it was quite interesting to see. Yeah, quite a lot of dust. I'm experimenting, of course, with the various burrs and the speeds, and I think I've probably got this at about 45,000. Big diamond. And what I did there is put the dust extractor on, and you can see now the dust is going straight back upwards into the dust extractor. Back to the little green stone, and I'm half toning the edges of this. I'm giving it a little sort of curly-whirly kind of effect, and I thought, oh, it just doesn't matter. The idea is to give it some sort of effect. So I'm coming in slightly with the half toning. trying not to touch the edge of the clear glass relief glass, of course, because I don't actually want to put any marks on it apart from the basics on the leaf. Obviously the berries I will be doing something else with, but the leaves are basically just going to have the veins. So I'm trying not to touch them. I don't want to have to rub them with polish them with a rubber, and so just sticking to the edges and the very middle. There we go, the middle of the areas. And it's a kind of a gentle, it's not really a texture, it's more like colour change with movement, if you like, not texture. You can see the little curly-whirly effect of it without being texturized. Is that a word? Well, it is now. Okay, and now the white Arkansas, and I'm just going on again in little curly-whirlies all around the edges, making the stone area even smoother with the little curly-whirly effect. This is nice if you're doing a sheep. Of course, we're not doing a sheep, we're just doing a random bit of art on the glass. And what this is doing, because this stone is a pre-polisher, it means that once I get a rubber to that, it's going to quite dramatically darken it. I'm going over the edge and into its own little area as well, so I'm sort of smoothing out the stone and adding a little bit extra. Thinking. Guess what I'm going to do? Nope, I've decided against a random design. I think I was possibly thinking of texturing, and here we have the great big fat rough rubber. It's got a lot of abrasive in it, and so it has an interesting effect on the glass. So now it is toning down and almost blending the stone work together into the diamond. I do enjoy these rubbers. They are very sturdy. Now, this drill is exceedingly strong. I must admit, I'm totally impressed with it. And I have only got this going, I wish I'd made a note of it, but I know I turned it down considerably. And I'm probably only on about 20,000 RPM at this point. And it really, really is working beautifully. I don't think I need more than that. And I have a feeling that these large burrs on their little chart show it to be going preferably very much slower. So there's a little bit of variety going on here. What have I got now? Another diamond burr. It's quite a new one, it's quite rough, and I'm starting to grind in to the berries. I'm going quite deep. Of course, I've got a lot of glass to play with, so I can go quite deep. And I am leaving a tiny little edge. So that tiny little edge is original surface height. around their edges, because there may be some little chippy bits. I must admit they weren't too bad, because the speed of the drill, I had it going nice and fast. I think to begin with I'd forgotten I had it on slow, and then I sped it up nicely, and wowza. It's really good. In fact, it's so smooth I don't even know that it's turning. It's crazy. So back with the White Arkansas, and of course I've got the White Arkansas running very slowly. It is not going at 50,000 RPM. I can't remember the speed. I suppose I should start telling you, because it's quite interesting. I've never known before. I've just played by ear, of course, because my drills have never been able to tell me what speed I'm going. And now, of course, it's on this little digital screen. But I got to say, when I took the burr out of the drill, it's not often I do that, but I kind of burnt my fingers. So it was possibly going a bit faster than I would normally run it. Little round pencil rubber, and roughly polishing in the little berries. I've got to say, I was zooming along pretty speedily because of the time pressure, because I'm trying to get this video out before the end of the month, and of course everything's very late because of my trip away, and so I'm quite behind. And to all my patrons who are waiting patiently, I apologize and thank you for waiting. So I'm zooming along as fast as I can, and it's an interesting effect on the brain, which is also trying to design at the same time. So I was kind of no pressure, but it was like a challenge. It was quite fun, actually. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, does it? I mean, it could have been a complete disaster, but I think it's going all right. It's different. As you may have worked out by now, I've ditched the idea of carving on this glass. I'm keeping it whole, and I will be doing our rim carving on another glass entirely in a different video, and that'll be next month. So I'm taking my little White Arkansas, and I'm going around the very, very corners of the leaves, just where I can see there may be a tiny bit of roughness from that little darling, which is quite an attacking bird, especially a new one like that. My funny little wannabe holly leaves, I don't know what they are. But remember, you have artistic license, really. You can do whatever you like. So now I'm also half toning the little stems as well, because I'm going to polish those. And I'm running this kind of just inside. It's actually not quite sharp enough or delicate enough, small enough to get into those corners. But as I say, the effect in the end is very arty. I want this to look almost like a print or a painting or something like that. You know, it's not a precise technical drawing, it is just a bit of art. Might chat amongst yourselves while I fiddle about. Okay. Obviously I've got a diamond on the go. Right, small diamond, and you can see, of course, the veins. I'm just going to go over. I think I've done one already by the looks of things. And just go over them with the small diamond ball. I'm going to give that leaf an edge. Very simple one. And I've decided at this point pretty much that is all I want to do within the leaves. Now you can, of course, you can add shading and highlight and more little veins and just whatever you like. Put a ladybird on one, you know, that's doesn't matter. But I decided to keep this as simple as possible and totally transparent. I didn't want to add any shading, you know, or anything, because I'm still thinking, am I going to cover the entire glass with this? And therefore, if I did that, I would want to be able to see through the leaves to the design going on the other side. At the end of the day, if I changed my mind about the inside of the leaves, of course, then I can add whatever I fancy. Now I fancy a ladybird. Man. No, I didn't do a ladybird. Not fussing too much about these veins. I'm not even flicking the ends. I'm just keeping them as solid lines, maintaining the thickness, which is maybe a little bit clumsy, but I wanted them to stand out. I think that was one of the things in my mind as well. Just contrast against the clear. Look at the dust coming off the cloth. You can see it floating up into the extractor. I like the shiny little berries, don't you? I think they're rather fun. Just a sort of a semi-contrast. And a bit of relief as well. But reverse, if you like. Now, this was me thinking, ooh, do I cover the rest? And I very roughly sketched with this aquarelle. And as you can see, it does look messy, but I was getting a visual, a really rather rough visual of the whole glass being done, and I very nearly did it, but then I changed my mind. I might still do it at another stage, maybe, you never know. But for the sake of this video, I have kept it simple. Using the little diamond and really deeply, not deeply, but neatening the very depths of that ridge. And you will see actually there's a lot of sharp white around each leaf and At this point, I'm thinking I'm not over keen on that, actually. I'm going to be playing with that a little bit more. I decided that this needed to be carved away a little bit more, the stem of this leaf, I think. So I got another diamond out, slightly bigger, and just neatened up that area. Here we have the rubber disc. And as you know, it's going to run over the top where I left a tiny bit of surface outline. So in other words, the original surface height. And just by running this over the top, it's not going to be touching where I've carved away. So it's going to give you a really neat, dark outline. And if I was engraving this the other way around, as you know, I would have a completely different idea about these, but because of the contrasts of this particular piece, I just fancied that. I fancied giving them a dark outline. Here I have got a very sharp white Arkansas, and I'm going to just take those stems right underneath the leaves. I don't want them starting in the middle of nowhere. I want them to be coming from underneath the leaves. I could have, of course, taken them over the top of the leaves and played around with that sort of idea. If I'd done that, I probably would have cut it in with a very sharp white Arkansas, but a flattened sharpness, not that, if you know what I mean. In other words, flatten the top, then you hold it on the side and it cuts really well. A ridge going along. So now I'm sharpening this little brown pencil rubber, because I just want to take it into those areas that I've just added. And if it goes over the edge slightly, doesn't matter, because I can go in with a very small diamond and neaten up those stalks so that you really only see the stalk and not a blurred edge. I think that's probably what I'm about to do now. Polish that little leaf going under there. Say, missed a bit, so just catching up that bit there. And then out with a red pen, because I'm thinking, ooh, what am I going to do in the background? I really feel like something else, and I'm thinking random lines. Now this is a washable marker, very fine obviously, and it'll come straight off with water, so you can happily draw over your engraving. And I'm just sort of doing a random crosshatchy kind of thing, which I probably would be thinking of white Arkansas, sort of darker lines, perhaps. Maybe white lines. You know, it's you got to play around, and nobody's normally watching. Not normally. I've only got all you lot thinking, my goodness, what is she doing? But this is the fun of it. You just play, and of course off it went. I didn't like it at all, but it was worth a try. So what am I doing now? Oh yes, some more of these. I really fancied some more berries. This time, the effect you will see with the pencil, in fact, is the contrast to the polished out ones. I decided I will do some that are not polished out, just as a contrast. And because I can. I was quite happy with that. And then I just used the red pen to add stalks, which I may or may not stick to, but it's just an idea. So I'm still getting my extra stalky bits included, which I sort of had in my mind. And that looks much better. It's kind of all hanging now. I like it. Little white Arkansas, as I was mentioning slightly earlier, one that is flattened on the top, so it's got a really sharp edge to it. And you hold it on its side, and that will cut really nicely into the glass. Going nice and slow and steady. What I like to do, as I've mentioned a couple of times before, is okay, these lines are pretty short in fact, but if you are doing a long line, put your burr down in the starting point and keep your eye on the destination. So as you can see, I did add in the other two, but I didn't show it in the video, and I slightly changed where the stalks came from as well. So now I'm just marking in, first of all, the little berries. Now on with the water at high speed. Oops, and then my head got in the way. That's not good. Sorry, I should have clipped this out actually. Yeah, chat amongst yourselves. I think what I had done actually is I had the drill on set to the maximum of about 25 or 30 for the white Arkansas, but now of course I've ramped it right up again, probably to 50, and it's so smooth. It is so smooth with and efficient with this burr. Really amazing. I am absolutely aware that it is going that much faster, so I am ensuring that I have got lots of water going. Hope it's not going inside the drill. And also, of course, I keep lifting it up. I don't leave it there for too long, and I move it around. They are pretty deep, I must admit, especially the ones at the bottom. And now with the hard rubber, just running over the edge. My old recorder cleaner, just getting out the extra bits of rubber. Now this is where I start to vary the highlights that are behind the leaves, because I like the idea that they are in relief, but I don't necessarily like the idea of this white blast of light coming behind each one. So I'm varying that. Shaping the rubber just to get inside there. And here I've got a hard black rubber. These are rubber bullets. Like the grey, but this is a hard black. Don't often use it actually. And I'm being very random with this. As I say, I want this to look like a painting or some kind of print. And so I am not polishing out all round the leaves at all. I am just picking areas, just wherever I feel like. I mean, in real life this could be you know, a bush full of leaves and there's lots of blurred shading going on in the background. Blurred mottled shading. Now I've got this the little pencil rubber, and I've flattened the top and I'm going into the stalks. Then while I've got it in my hands, I decided to give the white berries a tiny bit of shadow at the bottom, just around the bottom half. Now they look like little golf balls. I think I know what I'm going to do with this tiny little diamond, and I'm going to highlight the top of the stalks because I've decided that they're not showing up that well. So I'm not going into the groove, I am just above the groove. So you see the highlight, then you see the stalk underneath. And I'm only doing that to the new berries. I decided there needed to be a little bit more neatening up around this leaf stalk. It was just too chunky. It's always good to look at the back of the glass as well. Oh, I'm not going to show you that. Okay. I'm kind of thinking now, right, that's enough. That's pretty much all it needs, really. I think it's quite effective. It's different. It's just a blast of decoration on the front of this glass. I've gone. I don't know where I've gone to. Come back. You may have noticed there's a lot of water in the tub, and in actual fact I had zoomed off home yesterday, having flashed out the first video, and and I'd left my little drip feed dripping, and so I got to work and it was all empty and in the tray. So I should have emptied it out, but I was in so much of a hurry to try and get this done. Right, here I've got my soft grey rubber, one of my faves, and this really nicely polishes out. Because it's a softer rubber, it goes further into the different areas of glass that a hard rubber won't. And it's just kind of blending it. It's just blending it all in and making it more of a random background. I've decided to sharpen. I hate doing this. It's such a waste, but I have to. I've sharpened it just to get into some of the areas because they're quite deep ridges, and I've decided that they're not neat enough, so I've gone back with a white Arkansas and I'm smoothing them out a bit so that I can get the rubber nicely into them. That would have been when I used that tiny little diamond to neaten off the edges sometimes. In some places I'd probably gone a bit too deep and made another ridge, or another gully if you like. So when you run the rubber over the top of it, it doesn't look so good. So now it's a little bit more efficient. Just randomly. I still could have deepened that more, but it doesn't matter. It's fine. It's painting. We're painting with diamonds here. I don't usually sign the front, as you know. I normally like to hide the signature because that is what collectors like. They like to look for the signature, and today I thought, you know what, why not? And I drew a line so that it is pretty straight, so that it looks neater. And there you go, the signature right in the front. Now we're looking from the other side. Yeah, that's not too bad. I hope you enjoyed that, and have a go, and thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye for now.